Yeah, I mean, that was some high-level baseball all weekend long. I'm really impressed by their team, their talent. They're very well coached. They got a lot of really talented arms and a really deep lineup. And it felt that way in the ballpark with all the fans here and, 11 a.m. game. I mean, I don't know what the attendance was, but it was pretty full in here. And, it felt that way because of Husker Nation backing us up.
Kind of the emotions from Friday carrying to different emotions Saturday. How do you guys stay composed in a game like this to take the series?
Yeah, I get asked that question a lot, right? Because we've had, again, every team goes through it every year. And, the teams that can kind of just stay even keel, they tend not to get too high and too low. And, that's kind of been a trait of this group. One of the things that, we try to be is very consistent and very resilient. Those are words that these guys chose before the year started. So you just show up with a job to do the next day. Whether you win 10-0 or you get your butt kicked the night before, you just show up with a job to do the next day and you compete and you fight. And that's what these guys have done. And again, we're not a perfect team. I mean, there's no perfect teams out there, but you gotta compete and you gotta fight and you gotta make big pitches when you need them. You gotta make big plays when you gotta have them. And if you're 0 for 13 with runners in scoring position and you need one hit to win, that's what you gotta do.
Can you talk about the effort that you saw from Drew today, especially for how long as he went out there?
Boy, couldn't be prouder. That was a big boy moment from him early on. 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, kind of wobbled, and was able to get out of his inning. And then you could see him kind of get going, get confident. He wanted the ball there in the 9th inning, and it showed. I mean, he was super impressive. Couldn't be prouder of him and Brockett both. I mean, two guys that have had. Again, baseball's a tough game. You're going to have ups and downs regardless of how talented you are. Both those guys are super talented. They've been part of two teams as freshmen and sophomores that fell short of where they wanted to go. They've been great teammates through it all. They embody everything about Husker baseball. Drew Christo was awesome today, and he backed up a pretty awesome performance by Brockett.
Is there a common thread between those guys and guys like Caleb Clark, who maybe their stock's been up and down, but they're kind of finding it right now?
That's a good point because, Clark's another high character young man that, you just got to keep fighting, and they embody exactly what the team's all about. It's not always going to be, a beauty pageant, but if you can make plays, winning plays, then you can do some things.
With Clark and Brockett kind of on the upswing again, what is that just going to do for that staff overall and kind of the options you have on a weekend?
Yeah, well, it definitely helps provide some length, to where you're not having to make as many moves, hopefully. I mean, that was kind of what we've seen is where we've had to make too many moves. We're trying to be too perfect at the end of the game. It's come back to bite us. So when you've got guys that can give you length, like Christo, who's more stretched out, Brockett's stretched out, Clark's stretched out. J-Dub's been in that mold for most of the year. When those guys are all rolling and confident, it definitely helps out the staff.
What does this team need to work on ahead of the postseason?
Oh, that's a tough question. I mean, there's always things that you can work on. I still think that there's a lot that we can improve on. We've gotten better defensively. We made some big time plays this weekend. I felt like Carey made some awesome plays when we needed it. Beak made some great plays at third base. I thought we had some good swings today with runners in scoring position. I thought that was an improvement. We had 3 or 4 opportunities there that we stayed on the barrel, took good committed swings. I think those things come in bunches, and that's coming in at the back half of the season.
What do the next few days look like for you guys before you take off?
Well, we got finals. Guys are taking finals, so we'll find an opportunity to work out one day before we head out. We'll leave Wednesday. We'll get a practice in East Lansing on Wednesday and go from there.
Right